it's Black History Month, as we all know, and we're sporting some of our favourite Black-owned businesses and Black designers in homage for that. But it's a very special night for you, Charlene. It's your documentary, and we've got a lovely little clip. It's an exclusive one just to us, so take a look.
To know that I came from here and that generations and generations kept on it, they kept on it. They all wanted more. They all wanted more for their children. My grandparents wanted more for their children. My parents wanted more for their children. And then you've got me, my brother and my sister. And the dream that Andrew and Elsie had here was us. Oh, God.
Oh, I know. I mean, it was beautiful, but you said that at the beginning you were very much going into it with your journalist head on your shoulders. No, I want this to be, you know, a story that's told in its proper sense. But if we can see the emotion,
it's weird because I was asked to do this, and you know, I'm used to telling stories. That's what I do in my everyday life, and I was so determined not to get emotionally attached to this. And when people watch it tonight at 9 o'clock, they will see about halfway through there's a shift, because it's that realisation that this isn't just a story about random people in some faraway land on the other side of the Atlantic. It is, it's about me. And a lot of things that I found out in this programme, it's Empire's Child, it's a look into my links to the British Empire. I realised that actually there are decisions that generations before me have made that's allowed me to be where I am today, do what I do, and have the personality that I have. And I didn't expect it to hit me in that way, and it didn't. It's so weird, because I've seen that clip a few times, and I obviously was there when it was filmed. And yet I watched that, and still, yet again, those feelings come rushing back. But did you have that when you did yours?
It was so weird, because I've just watched that clip, first time I've ever seen it, and the emotions that started triggering inside of me, it really reminded me of, like you say, you can't explain it until you've sort of gone through something like that. When I went back to India, I went half going, this is going to be a bit of a jolly, I'm going to really enjoy this, I'm going to bring you all back some information that I find out. I never related it to my world. And once I started being, you know, sitting down with people I've never met before who were telling me what my ancestors had done, how my great-grandfather had brought women's rights to the fore, how he fought for women to have a voice where nobody thought women were important. I just started thinking, and look at what's happened to his children, like you've just said there, and then all of a sudden there's me being a woman the way I want to be, and the tears can't stop, and the journey is so important, because who'd have thought in 2021 we'd be talking about our ancestors? They wouldn't believe that we're here flying the flag. Like, we are the cheerleaders for our ancestors, so we do need to hear these stories.
But wasn't there part of you, though, that tried to detach yourself from that part of your history?
Yes. Oh, gosh, I wanted to deny I was Asian, because it wasn't, you know, I quickly found out that people weren't up for wanting to know about my Indianness, or, you know, that wasn't interesting. So I spent more time trying to be accepted than expecting them to want to accept me. So I didn't really look into being Indian or different. So when I went on this journey, it was like a mirror in my face going, look at where you're from, look at what you've been denying yourself, knowing. And now, I mean, it really changed me, you know. You might find this time next year you might be a little bit different.
Do you think that's common within the Indian or an Asian community, that there's a disassociation from your heritage?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Nobody ever wants to be... Nobody chose in this society to sound different, look different, stand out for the wrong reasons. And I think the Asian community knew to try and get ahead, you had to get an education, and you had to try and merge and mix and adapt and go with the flow. And, you know, and I think that's something that a lot of the second-generation children are finding out as well. Like, you just, you know, you don't want to be ridiculed. You don't want to, you do everything you can to avoid it. And if that means you have to try and sound more like the people that live in the houses next door, then you do. You know?
But Kelly, one thing that I want people to get from this is that they need to talk to their grandparents and their great-grandparents about their family history, because once those stories are gone,
Yeah.
That history is gone.
Well, I mean, I'm quite similar to Brenda in that I was really fortunate to I got to live with my grandfather for a significant amount of time whilst I was in between houses. And it was so nice because I got to hear the stories and some of his journey. My grandfather had, like, one finger missing. And you know, as a child, it's just not something you'd ask. So eventually I had this conversation with him, and he said that he lost it whilst he was working in the steel mill. And he said he lost his finger. It came off in the machine. He went to the hospital. He got it bandaged up, and he went straight back to work. And I was aghast at that, you know, like, but to be honest, he said to me, I've never missed a day's work, never. Even in that situation, I never missed a day's work. And that instilled in me the values that I still hold today. I have never missed a day's work. You know, I won't. I feel uncomfortable even with taking a break because I feel very privileged to be where I am, to have my job, to have the jobs that I do, to work on Hollyoaks, to work at Loose Women. I feel very privileged.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that I can ever take my foot off the gas and take any of that for granted because I know it came with a huge price. My ancestors, my grandparents, they paid a huge price for me to be sitting where I am today.
You know, I'm just going to finish off by saying I agree with all of you ladies. It's all about working hard, play hard, you know, and that's what I do, and I try to instill that in my children. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks very much, Brenda. Well said. Well said.